Let's try a challenging one. Like a good challenge, I think you will appreciate this. So the problem is exactly the same, but this time the parabola is y equals 2x squared minus 6x plus 11 halves. Wow, a lot of things going on here. So it begins exactly as we expect. We subtract 11 halves from both sides. And then I have negative 11 over 2 plus y equals 2x squared minus 6x. Now, to complete the square, we said that the number in front of the x squared has to be 1. So what we need to do is divide everything in this problem by 2. Or you could think of as multiply by a half. So if I do that, I'm going to divide everything by 2. So I'm going to get a negative 11 over 4 plus y over a 2 equals, and we'll write this out, 2x squared over 2 minus 6x also over 2. So now I have negative 11 fourths plus y over 2 equals, then I have x squared minus 3x. And it's from here that we can complete the square. So let's try this. We have, notice that we take 1/2 of the negative 3. So that's negative 3 over 2. And then we square it. So that's going to be negative 3 over 2 squared. This is going to be 9 fourths, positive 9 fourths. Okay, so now let's add that back. So now I have 9 fourths minus 11 fourths plus y over 2 equals x squared minus 3x plus 9 fourths. So 9 fourths minus, and now we clean it up. 9 fourths minus 11 fourths is negative 2 fourths, which is the same as negative 1/2 plus y over 2 equals, and our perfect square becomes x minus 3 over 2 squared. We're almost there. So now let's add back the 1/2. So plus 1/2 to the left, and we'll add a half to the right. So we do that, and we're left with y over 2 equals x minus 3 over 2 squared plus 1/2. Now here's the part that is a little subtle. So we're going to do this together. Now we're going to multiply everything by 2. And I'll write all this out. So it's 2 times y over 2. I don't need to multiply the parentheses. We don't want to distribute. 2 times x minus 3 over 2 squared plus the 1/2 also times 2. Well, notice what happens. On the left-hand side, the 2's cancel, and we're back down to just y equals, and we need to be there. So now that I have 2 times x minus 3 over 2 squared plus 1. And there we go. So our vertex on this problem, is, we change the sign of the number in the parentheses, so it's positive 3/2, comma 1. So that's our vertex. So now we can continue to graph this by looking at or making our graph. So I'm going to bring this down. And we're going to make our table. Let's just draw our graph here. And like this. So I'm going to use the lines now as half units. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, 4. We'll stop there for now. So let's see. We said the vertex is 3/2, 1. So let's do this in another color. I like the orange today. Here's 1, 2. Here's 3/2 or 1.5, and then up to 1. So it's going to be right there. And it's 1 whole unit, 2, and so on. All right. So now this problem is easier if you think whole units. So instead of looking at just one being to the left, let's go a whole unit over to a half. Let's take a look at a half. So let's see what happens. Let's make our XY table. So let's look at a half. So then, and now here's what's interesting. We could go all the way back and use our original equation way up here, or, which is right here, or what we could do is we could just use our standard form that we've worked so hard for if we've done everything correctly. So let's try that. Let's try our standard form. So get my pen back. So now I have y equals 2 times 1/2 minus 3/2 squared plus 1. Well, 1/2 minus 3/2, that's -2/2, which is the same as -1. I square it to get +1, multiply it by 2 to get 2 plus 1 more, so 3. Okay, and then, so let's see, there was 1/2. Now let's try, if this is, color code here. Oops. So here is -1, and here's -2. Okay, we looked at +1/2. Let's go another full unit. Well, if here's a half, we'd want to go all the way over here. Next whole unit over is -1/2. Let's try that. So -1/2, I have y equals 2 times -1/2 minus 3/2 squared plus 1. So that's going to be -4/2, which is really -2. Square it to get 4. Multiply it by 2 to get 8. Add 1 to get 9. Wow, this one is big fast. So 9 on my scale to be way high. It's going to be, yeah, way up there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so I'm going to be right there. Another point we might want to check along the way we could check it at 0. Let's try 0, because that seems like a big stretch. 0. So this is 2 times 0 minus 3/2 squared plus 1. Well, that's going to be minus 3/2. I square it, that's 9/4. Multiply it by 2, that's 9/2. 9/2 plus 1, which is 2/2, I get 11/2. So that's 5.5. So here's 3, 4, 5. So right there is the y-intercept. So here's what my picture looks like. It goes from 3, I didn't graph. 1/2 is at 3. So my picture now looks like this. Notice how quickly this just races up. And so now, remember, we've done all the hard work because we know it's symmetrical from the vertex. So I can easily match up the points that I've taken the time to find. So this point here comes into 2, so it goes out 2 units on my grid. Then the y-intercept goes in 1, 2, looks like 3, so it goes out 1, 2, 3. And my final point way up here in the air comes in 1, 2, 3, there's 4, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I can very easily graph the right side. And you could have found the right side first and then graph the left side. Either is perfectly fine. And that is how we use the standard form of a parabola to start with the vertex and quickly graph the parabola. Thanks for watching.